I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you all for coming. This community is designed to support you in that time. It's really to utilize when things are bad and when you're at your lowest.
I started to learn about emotions. I started to learn about finding root causes, right? Starting to understand addiction and how addiction is not, once again, the issue that we are using a negative stimulus as a coping mechanism.
Part of my mission is to make sure people know that everything we need comes in a natural form. It's already here for us.
I am determined. I am strong. And I am ready.
We must first lovingly accept what is. I often say, you can't heal a body you hate.
This is healthy blood cells. And that's what we're aiming for. So you can see the contrast. Okay? What you do matters.
Thank you all for coming. Be blessed. Well, the retreat was a success. Yay! I don't know if I'm allowed to keep using that intro because this retreat's over, but it was a success. So we're going to keep running it until we get a new intro.
Well, I want to hear all about the retreat before we get into tonight's topic, because unfortunately I wasn't able to attend, but I know it would have been fabulous. So do share. So I feel like it's down.
We changed it up this year and did a big house instead of a cabin, which limited how many people we could host at the house.
Okay.
So we had a lot of people do like a virtual thing, or they came into town and they got a hotel and then they would meet and do their thing. It was actually pretty cool. But the speeches went off without a hitch. They were very powerful. You could tell that all the coaches are like really leaning into their self-mastery and just speaking and teaching, because every year the speeches tend to get a little better. And my brother Steve, he really went hard on his speech. If you guys weren't there, eventually we'll have the replays available. You guys can purchase them and check out the retreat. But I had to rewrite my speech, Sasha.
Why? What happened?
Because I wanted to try something new this year for my speech, and it was not resonating with me. Like, I just felt uneasy about it all the way up to the last day. And so the night before, I rewrote my whole speech.
The night before?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, right. So firstly, what made you uneasy? Because I know you talk about what you know. So what made you uneasy about it?
So what I wanted to talk about is something I'm currently researching.
Oh, it's a new topic.
So usually when I talk about stuff, it's at a stage of completion.
Absolutely.
But in order to talk about it and kind of in the middle of it, I needed to basically lean on other people's research and stuff, which just didn't feel comfortable for me, I think.
Yeah, I'm like that. I like to have all my I's dotted and my T's crossed before I approach a subject. So yeah, I get that. That makes sense. That's integrous, right? That's okay.
Yeah. But I see some people in the chat that was at the retreat. Y'all let me know. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there really. Like, I was there, but when you're giving the speech, you don't really know. Y'all can let us know what you thought of the speeches for those who was in the chat that was there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd love to know. Is there anything, given that the retreat was like virtual kind of and in person, is there anything that you kind of gleaned from this experience that you would change going forward to the next experience, Chris?
Yes, the next experience will not be virtual.
Okay.
Not only are we not gonna, we might have a virtual option, but it won't be like buy a virtual ticket. What we're going to probably do next time is we're going to relinquish all of the responsibilities of running the retreat and everything to an outside source. And all I want to have to do is write my speech and do my job. and also be able to spend more time with the community and those people that come. And that's the
Nice.
goal for all the coaches.
Oh, I love that. That sounds really, really personal and engaging. Okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Well, look out for that, guys. Next year, the retreat's going to go leveled up even more. Love it. Okay, so tonight we are talking about okay, hold on. We have someone. Oh, hi, Caroline, darling. Okay, so the retreat was awesome. Each speech hit home in a different area of my wellness journey. Definitely action orientated. That's what we want. Action orientated. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, Caroline, I hope you're in the course starting on Sunday so I can hear more about this action you're going to be taking. Because you know me, I will hold you accountable to the action you say that you're taking.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So tonight we're going to be talking about the harmony, okay, that, comes from your hormones when you kind of master the power of detoxification. Oftentimes people are looking for harmonious hormones and they don't factor in detoxification or what that looks like. Now, I understand it, and no judgment. It's just an observation and a critical observation that has to be brought to your attention so that you can do something different. Hello. I'm seeing all the highs in the chat. Finally, I've got the chat open. Normally, I don't have it open, so I don't get to see what you're saying. But hello, and hello. But okay, so obviously tonight's topic is kind of building on the other lives that I've done with Chris in this series on the build up to the course starting this Sunday. So if you are not aware, this is the first time you're seeing this video, we have a course starting, okay, called course number 3 in the series of the endocrine system. All right, unlocking the secrets of the endocrine system. Starts on Sunday, the 29th of September at 8 p.m. CST. Is that right? No, 7 p.m. CST, 8 p.m. EST. So if you're in New York, Toronto, it's 8 p.m. And if you're in the CST regions, then it is 7 p.m. Okay. It's on Sundays and Thursdays. And it's going to be phenomenal. So tonight is just a build up on what we've already covered in these last few lives. Okay. Talking about the hormones. Now, oftentimes when people hear hormones, they immediately think of one hormone in particular, cortisol. It is touted often in conversations as the fight or flight hormone, so people are aware of it. Or when they hear hormones, they think about reproductive hormones, right? But I'm here to tell you there are a cascade of hormones. Think about music, okay? And the harmonies in a piece of music. That is what we are talking about. Your body is that artwork, that music, right? That piece of music. And the hormones are what create the harmonious vibrations and sounds that envelope that piece of music. So tonight we're talking about the harmony of your hormones, and we're going to start off with something that a lot of people are dealing with, okay? Which is known as estrogen dominance. Now, for those of you that are not aware of this, estrogen is a hormone. It is a reproductive health hormone. And most women have heard of it. A lot of men are like, well, that's not what I'm to do with me. I'm focused on testosterone. Well, guess what? You produce estrogen too. And the balance between your estrogen and your testosterone will determine whether you, in fact, my men, have estrogen dominance as well. How does estrogen dominance show up for men? Because I want to talk about men before we get into the females, because oftentimes men don't think hormones have anything to do with them. From, high school years, you hear about the woman and she has a menstrual cycle and she's a bit irritable during that time, and she's hormonal. Oh, she's hormonal, right? That is kind of the stereotype that is portrayed. But guess what? Men are hormonal too. I know I'm blowing you away with this. You're like, what is she talking about? Men are hormonal? We absolutely are. So men that have estrogen dominance, okay, it can look like erectile dysfunction. It can, which is basically when you can't get it up and hold it up, okay? It can look like men that have weight gain, unexplained weight gain in the abdomen area, and particularly in the chest area. You look like you've got a little boob. And no judgment again, but that is estrogen dominance showing up. It can also look like hair loss. One day you had hair and now you've got a bald patch that just appeared and you're like, what is going on? Why? How? I don't get it. Estrogen dominance, right? There are so many other ways, but I'm going to jump over to my females because a lot of you are on here because they're like, all right, Sasha, lay it on me. Do I have estrogen dominance? And if I do, can you spell it out for me? Okay, so in a female, it can show up as common diseases and disorders, right? Such as PCOS, endometriosis, fibroid tumors, okay? You can also have hair loss when it comes to the female. You can also get some hairs on your chin as a female, right? You can also have weight gain, mood changes, okay? These are all estrogen dominance signs. You may also have hypothyroidism, which is an overactive thyroid response, and that's coming straight from the pituitary glands in their communication to the thyroid. Or you can have hypothyroidism, which is where it's an underactive thyroid. Okay, it's not producing T3 and T4 correctly, which is a thyroid hormone. So I don't want to get into too much of the complexities because I don't want to lose you, but I want you to understand that estrogen dominance is wreaking havoc a lot of the times underlying the symptoms that you actually have. So you may go to your doctor and talk about a particular symptom, but underneath that symptom, there is a hormone imbalance at play. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So Chris, come back on the screen and I want to ask you a question. Where have you gone? Oh, there you are. So Chris, tell me something. You work with a lot of clients. There are a lot of people in the AHA community. And are you seeing hormonal imbalances with any of your clients? Are you able to kind of identify that? Are you seeing that?
It's off the charts, Sasha. It's off the charts. As a matter of fact, I would be hard pressed to find someone who did not have hormonal imbalances.
Wow.
I would say that this is one of them things. Once again, for men, and this is why I love the fact that you keep bringing it up for men. Gyno, ED, and hair loss. It is so normal, and I don't know how it is in Canada, but here in the United States, it is so normalized that I think people are starting to believe that that's just how we age. That's just how the body changes.
Okay, so I always bring up my granddad, God rest his soul, but he was such an important man in my life, okay? And he passed away the end of May, right? At 103 years old. But do you know the man had a full head of hair? A full head of hair. Yeah, he had some white sprinkles, but he wasn't fully grey either. Do you know how incredible that is? You're 103.
Yeah, I do.
So it's like, no, it's not the way you age, because he wasn't using hair dye. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
right.
So, and also there's this thing around men, right? And I'm going to call you guys out because I love you all. And that's the truth. I have a son, okay? And it's really important that men stop waiting until their health is at an all failing moment before they go and seek some alternative help.
Yeah.
Okay? Because we don't want you coming when you're in the middle of prostate cancer. Why are you waiting till then? Your hormones have given you loads of sign before we got there. Lots. So I'm addressing you right now because I really want you to love yourself a bit more. Really, truly. We hear women say, okay, yeah, I'm going to work on myself. But I want to hear men say they're going to work on themselves. You going out to work and coming home and feeling completely fatigued by 5 and 6 p.m. is not normal. Once upon a time, men were able to go and go and go. They were out there hunting their food. They were out there, you know, working for hours. Steel plants, millwrights, all of it. Lots of physical work, right? Tradesmen, construction. And they were still able to go home and be present with their family. nurture their children, be there for their wife. Now a man works a few hours, he comes home, he just wants to lie on the couch and pass out. There's no libido anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have an unhappy wife, unhappy life. So it's time you begin to really prioritize your hormones too, because there's nothing worse than your wife getting her life working on herself and you're not. Because why is she going to stay in that sort of situation? It's not fair. It should be both of you. Iron sharpens iron. Both of you working together to be the best versions of yourself. So when you come together, it's like, wow, now that's a power couple. Now that's a couple that I'm inspired by. Do you understand what I mean? So again, I talk about libido and erectile dysfunction because that hits home with men. It's like, oh, what's she talking about? Oh, if I just talk about your hair, nobody cares. It's like, okay, well, I'll wear a baseball cap. It's fine.
Right.
Which
actually might be the baseball cap actually might be hurting you more than helping you. Usually they're made of plastic.
Absolutely, because then the follicles aren't getting the oxygen either. So yeah, there is that. But I just want men to know that this course is for you. It's for you too. It's not just for females. Okay, I'm not going to ignore your cycle. I'm not going to ignore your hormonal cycle. Yes, it's not the same as a female's 28 days, but guess what? Your cycle does exist. And we are going to talk about it. And we are going to talk about how you can help it and intensify your hormonal cadence, the harmony of your hormones too. Okay? All right. Now, jumping on. There are so many causes of estrogen dominance. One of the key causal factors, okay, is when you have too much weight on your body. Obesity, in a nutshell. Okay, I know we have this thing where it's body positive image, but I'm going to just rain on that parade. Okay, there's no body positive image when you are carrying excess weight that's putting pressure on your heart, that's putting pressure on your kidneys, that's putting pressure on your liver, that's interfering with your digestive health. You can't breathe. You go up the stairs and you're like that is not body positive image. Okay, they're trying to sell you a lie. That is you slowly dying. It's not about fat shaming. It's about you getting your life. Okay? It's about you getting your life. So you don't have to be super skinny, but you have to allow your body to function. Right? So obesity is not the answer. We're going to go through that a little bit more in the course because we're going to be talking about the connection between fasting and your hormones. It's a very important topic. And it's a topic that needs to be discussed because you guys are a fasting community. If you are part of the AHA community existing already, you are a fasting community. If you are just seeing YouTube for the first time today, maybe you're not familiar with AHA and the fasting community that exists. But I would encourage you to go and get connected with them because fasting is a powerful tool for detoxification, which is what we're talking about today. Yes, there's a caveat to that. If you're starting from a very depleted place with, lack of nutrients and not a very solid, healthy foundation, then maybe you're not ready to go into an intensive, prolonged fast just yet, but that should be the goal at some point. So doing this course will help you create that foundation of knowledge to be able to slide off into a beautiful fast with least amount of detox symptoms. And that is the goal. And that is why this program was created. To help you be successful at that with the community supporting you. And there are a whole host of coaches, like Chris mentioned, that are around to kind of mold you and guide you and support you. You're not doing this on your own. One of the hormones that is released by the pituitary gland, the posterior pituitary gland, is oxytocin, which is all about the sense of belonging. We all want that sense of belonging, and that's a natural hormone that our body naturally produces. And being part of a community of wellness that is encouraging you to get to the best version of yourself only intensifies that hormonal response. It's fantastic. All right, so going back to the causes, another causes are environmental toxins, right? We have endocrine disrupting chemicals. We're going to touch on this in more detail in the course. And I'm going to give you examples of EDCs that you want to take out of your life. And of course, whenever we take something out, there is a reaction in the body. And so when we take it out, it's not that you're never going to use that product, but you're going to find a safer version of that product. All right. A lot of times people aren't thinking about their toothpaste. They buy Colgate. And it's like, well, it's cheap and cheerful and it's in every grocery store. Well, sorry to call you out, company, but there is a lot of toxins within that product. And so therefore, we would look for fluoride free.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's an endocrine disruptor. It disrupts the way your natural chemical hormonal response takes place. Yesterday, I did a live in the AHA community. And for anybody that missed it, it was because we came on really late. And I'm very sorry about that. My computer died. I deviate. But you can still go and watch it. The recording is available. Okay. And what it was is we talked about the pituitary gland in isolation. We put it in isolation so that you could see just that one organ system of the endocrine gland, right? How powerful just that one gland is and how it speaks to all of the other organ systems and delivers messages. So you can imagine if one gland does that, what do you think is happening with all of the other glands? When you bring in toxicity that interferes with the endocrine system as a whole. Oh, Matthew, I love you. Okay, so Matthew was in the course yesterday and he's a champion. I'm telling you, he remembers. I love this. So when I gave an example of the pituitary gland yesterday, I was trying to explain it in a way that would invoke some sort of what I'd like to call cognitive recompense, so that you remember. It's like it's a reminder of what you do in your day-to-day life, right? So I described the hypothalamus, which is the control center of your brain, okay, as an owner of a company. Okay, so if you own a company, you don't necessarily have to be working in it day to day. Most owners, when they get to a certain level, they are managing kind of like the budget maybe, or like the overall direction in terms of vision, like a visionary like Chris. But there are other people that manage the operations, you know, and maybe the executive leadership plan, right? So I had the owner as the hypothalamus and the COO as the front pituitary gland, right, which is anterior. And then I had the CEO as the back, the posterior pituitary gland, all right? And why it was described in that way was to invoke understanding in that who does what, whose job is what, all right? And so just to recap on that, you've got to think about it in this way. The owner sends messages, and there are two delivery messages that that owner is sending messages as, okay? It's sending a message as the nerve messages or the hormonal messages. Now, the hypothalamus is kind of in the brain. It has two connective ways, right? So its communication pathway is a nervous pathway or a hormonal pathway, right? And so the back of the pituitary gland, which is the CEO, has a lot less deliverables than the front, which is the COO of the pituitary gland, right? And you imagine these are two different people. These are two different managers, executives, okay? So the person who's responsible for the back is communicated through the owner, let's just say on the phone. Let's just say that that owner's calling them to tell them what their job is. And they have two jobs, oxytocin, right? And antidiuretic, so ADH. That's their job, and that's all they do. Now, at the front, the owner is communicating via email because they have a lot more to get done. And there needs to be a written track of what they're giving them to do. Okay? And so in that sense, you have the COO doing communication with the thyroids, communication with the adrenals, communication with the pancreas, communication with your ovaries, communication with your testes, communication with your thymus. And this is what we were covering yesterday. And so what's so important is when we begin to understand the communication pathways, we also begin to realize that when we bring in toxic substances like a toxic shampoo, a toxic toothpaste, even alcohol, which people, do as fun, but it has an endocrine disrupting property, which sends those communications that the owner is communicating via email is now all confused. Imagine getting an email and the paragraph is all, and you're trying to make out what word goes with what. What is he actually trying to say? Do you understand? And it's trying to give it an analogy so that people can actually see what you're doing to yourselves hormonally. And this is why it comes back again to the harmony. It has to make sense. When you read what the owner sent via email, which is basically those messages to the different glands of the endocrine system, it has to make sense so that it can carry that message and actually deliver and actually send the messaging. Because what happens with a hormonal response is the hypothalamus sends it to the pituitary, and the pituitary sends it to each of those glands, those endocrine glands. So it's hormone message to hormone message, and then another hormone is released. So it's like a relay race. You're moving from one base to the next base. You're passing the baton, and it's passed on again, and it's passed on again. So imagine if when you get to number 3 in the relay race, somebody runs off with the baton. You're like, we can't complete the race. We have a problem. And that's often what's happening with hormones. And you don't understand why. You wake up one morning and you start to see a patch in your head and you're like, but why am I losing hair? I don't really understand. Oh my gosh, it must be old age. I must be getting old. No, there's a hormone imbalance. That message did not get from the owner to the gland. And then the gland was not able to send it to the follicular because it's follicles on your head. Even though there's follicles that are reproductive, there's also follicles on your head. So anyway, I digress a little bit, but Matthew gave me that little prompt and I thought I have to go back and just remind why it's so important. It's important that we understand how the hormones communicate, because then we can actually help them. We can support them. Instead of fighting against them, we work with them to do their job, because that's how they're godly designed. This is not, man did not design this. We could not design this level of intricacy. It's just like how blood, we could not design the way the blood communicates to the cells, right? To all the different tissues and things. So this is beyond our comprehension in how it was made up, but we can at least support it. We know enough to be able to support how it is designed to work. So in terms of detoxification, everybody knows for the most part probably what a detox is, right? It's where you begin to empty the body of all the toxins that you've built up over time. And there are multiple methods of detox. And detox is a buzzword now. You go on TikTok and detox this and detox that and detox tea and detox drink and detox. Everybody's doing a detox. It scares me that everybody's doing a detox, actually. It's almost scary to me, because detoxification is not what is touted out there. It's not something that you can just, I'm just going to drink a drink of detox juice today and ta-da, everything's fixed. It doesn't work that way at all, actually. It is a chemical and mechanical process. And this is where the gut is the first starting place, again, which is why the first course I taught in combination with AHA was gut health. Because you have to understand that. And even if you miss that course, don't worry, because in the hormonal course, there is a whole component on the communication between your gut and your hormones. I will never leave it out. It's impossible to leave it out, because the gut is integral in any form of detoxification process. Then we have, in a detoxification process, the liver. You can't leave the liver out. And we have a liver course coming after the endocrine system, where I'll get into a lot more detail about how you can support your liver. But I'm just giving you the components of what make up a true detoxification process. It is not just I'm just going to do this one thing today and it works that way. Your body doesn't work in a day. It doesn't detox in a day. It's a lie. It may begin a process, but it doesn't end in a day. That's not the way it works, right? And so because a detox requires a 3-phase process, right? There is a 3-phase process that has to take place. It has to activate, it has to neutralize, and then it has to mobilize. So activation is where it grabs the toxins. Come here, I've got you. Then it mobilizes. It begins to break down all of those foreign and toxic substances. And then the mobilization is, okay, now it's time for transport it. Let's get it out of the body. You can't get something out of the body without the colon being open, without the kidney urinating and being open. You can't get something out of the body without the lymphatic system helping the mobilization. You can't get something out of the body without the liver breaking down the toxin. It's the workhorse of toxicity. So do you see why I say detoxification is a process? And what people aren't understanding, and this is the part that makes you want to shake everybody, is because your hormones talk to your liver with the hormone production. Your hormones talk to your gut. Your hormones talk to your lymph. You cannot isolate. And this is the thing. We always want to follow Western medical practices, which tell us everything is separate. We are separate. We are not. We are one. It is unified. The systems talk to each other. The systems depend on each other. There is an interdependency that takes place. So the myth that, no, I don't have anything to do with my gut health, I just have diabetes. Are you a joker or what? You think diabetes has nothing to do with gut health? Really? Who told you that? I dare you to go and challenge them. Join the course. I will equip you with enough knowledge to go and challenge them. Because that is ridiculous. It's a fallacy. And people are dying through lack of knowledge. People perish through lack of knowledge. The Bible tells us this, right? There are too many people who are living in literal hell in their own bodies every single day. And it's always because they don't want to find information. That mini class I did last night was completely free. It costed you nothing. All you had to do was go to AHA Community, which is free as well, by the way. It didn't cost you anything to go in there, and still doesn't, for you to go over, register with AHA and watch the free recording. If you can't afford the course and you're first hearing about this now, go and watch the recording. I don't want your fate to be because you were lazy. Because information is there. It's just, do you want it? Do you want to change? Do you want hormonal harmony? Because if you do, honestly, there's so much available to you. We live in a world of knowledge now. And people like myself and Chris and Steve and Jazz and Shell and Jonathan and Mel, and you know, there's so many people, and not just us, who are willing to get up on a platform and share what we know, in the hopes that you'll grab hold of it, do some research for yourself as well, and then begin to implement it. There's no gatekeeping happening here. It's available to you. But do you really want it? Or are you happy in your personal health? Are you happy to stay with the status quo and just be that person that complains? Oh, my back, my joints. Oh, diabetes. Oh, my hypothyroidism. Like, can we stop it? Stop it. Seriously, you deserve better. And I am correcting you in love. This correction is not because I'm better than you, because I've been in your shoes. I've been there. I know what that is. What kind of person would I be if I've been there and then I don't tell you how to not go there?
Sasha, let me add something real quick, because We literally just talked about this. Part of Stephen's speech was talking about how people take their disease or anything that may be wrong with them and they make it a part of them. They make it a part of their personality. He went in so much great detail and talked about how sometimes we are defined by our disease to the point where every time you speak to someone, you're talking about your disease in some way. Oh, I woke up today with the back pain. Oh, it's rough getting out of bed. I gotta tie my shoes sitting down. I gotta, go get these medicines. Gotta pop these pills. Gotta pay for this prescription. Now I got a new symptom. It's like everything that comes out of your mouth is attached to this dis-ease. And so you're talking about the anguish that people experience living with this disease. But not only is it that, there's a mental component where they identify as the disease, and that is so painful. Like, you are reducing the greatness of what and who you are to a disease that doesn't even really exist. This
And see, the thing is, what you said is completely true, but you have to also recognize, right, that people, and I see it all the time because I work with lots of clients, right, and people almost get a payoff from being sick because we live in a world that is sick. And so when you identify and your sickness becomes your identity, there is almost a payoff that you get because you get more attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be that person. I could walk around and talk about the cancer journey and be like, oh my God, you won't believe what happened to me in my life. And da 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 da. But anybody that's ever spoken to me about my cancer journey, I don't approach it from that point of view. Because to me, cancer was the biggest blessing I ever had in my life. It was mess that became my message. It was a test that became my testimony. It was the biggest blessing that ever came into my life. Why? Because I was able to take something that could have destroyed me, but it only taught me. It just taught me. I just learned. I just leaned in. And I have to say that I feel so blessed that I was chosen for that journey. Because in that journey, when you're remolded, I was formed. The Sasha that existed prior to being sick, I don't even recognize that girl. When I look at her in pictures, I think, oh my gosh, I still remember the thought patterns of that Sasha. I still remember the behaviors of that Sasha. That Sasha wouldn't be my friend today, even though it was myself. That's how much. And I once on my Instagram, I posted a meme, right, that I saw on Pinterest, but I loved it, so I reposted it. And it said, I asked God to remove toxic people from around me, and I almost died.
Wow.
So when you hear me talk to people about their almost addiction or alignment to their disease, it's not because I'm trying to judge you or make you feel bad or condemn you. It's not. I've been you. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not from a place of I'm better than. I have been you. I get it. But you don't have to stay there. That's the point. You get to change. You get to transform. And guess what? Then your mess becomes your message. Then you get to have this domino effect where you get to be a living example of whatever it was that you were going through, that you can come out the other side. And it doesn't have to be a disease. Sometimes it's not a disease. Sometimes it's how you think. Sometimes it's the way you speak. Sometimes it's the environment and the people that you keep in your circle that you know aren't good for you. But the thought of the unknown and not having any friends for a time while you figure out your tribe, it scares you. So you know what? Let me stick with the devil I know. No. You've got to change. It's a part of life. You've got to expand and grow. And guess what? Learning about how your body works is the best way to start. Because it opens your mind up. You can think. In the intro, Jazz said something. She said, you can't heal a body you hate. That is so powerful. Because you have to think about it in this way. If you wake up every day and you have aches and pains, or you're dealing with a disease and you take medication, or maybe you're not even taking medication, maybe you're just suffering through it like a martyr, you know, but still complaining about it. How long do you think people are going to put up with it until they're sick of hearing about it? In the moment, you may feel like I'm getting attention. People care. But believe me, people aren't going to care always, because you're not doing anything about it. You're not trying to do different. If you try and you fall, if you try and you make a mistake, guess what? People are always going to be around to help you rally around and figure it out. But if you're just sitting in your self-pity, there's only so long before people are bored with hearing the same thing. You've got to love who you were designed to be. And maybe you don't, a lot of you don't know your identity. You don't know who you are. You know what people have said that you are. You know that what the world has defined you as. But you got to find out who you are. And the best place to find out who you are is to clear your body, detox your body. As you detox, you become clear. Your mind becomes clear. Right? As you empty out the old toxicity, you begin to feel new, renewed. And then you can figure out who it is you really are. I used to be so full of SHIT, literally, because I was constipated all the time. A diet rich in carbohydrates, white carbs, potatoes. I love chips. Oh my gosh. Give me mashed potatoes, a jacket potato. I'm British, right? Beans and cheese and chips, you know, typical British food. And I mean, a lot of you aren't British on here. Maybe you're American. You love soul food. The flavors get you and you're just gone with the cornbread and the this and the that. But guess what? There comes a moment where you have to look. Is the food worth you feeling like SHIT every single day?
Right.
Is it really? On your tombstone, do you want it to say, but they loved food? Like what? Like really? Come on, guys. And if you understand how to detox and you understand your hormonal health, you are like, I can't even explain how many steps ahead. Because most people don't know about the hormones. I'll tell you the truth. There is so much out there now about gut health. Everybody thinks they're a gut health expert. They watch one thing and then they're like, oh yeah, probiotics, I know about gut health. And okay, fine, cool. You know a little bit and you can run with that for a while. Sure. And lymphatic system, there's not much knowledge on it, to be honest. But you may have the 1 and 2 that have studied a bit. And then hormones, people almost silo it down to cortisol and reproductive health. And they stop there. And don't understand about the harmony, the rhythm of the hormonal health that runs the show, underlining everything. It is your brain that is communicating. Do you understand that? It is your brain that is communicating. Why would you ignore those communications? Are you joking? I can't stress it enough, guys. If you are not in the course on Sunday, I don't know why. I don't understand. I don't understand. Really. I have no words for you other than you're your own worst enemy in this. And you have no right to complain about anything to do with your health because you don't care that much. You care a little bit maybe, but not that much to do something about it. And it makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense because the truth of the matter is nobody's going to care about your health more than you do. And nobody should. Why should they? It's your health. Sometimes I think I care too much. Honestly, sometimes I think I care too much about other people's health. I have clients that come through my door or call me up on the phone and they'll tell me about something they're going through. And I immediately empathize because I've been there, or I felt that pain of not having your body work for you. You feel betrayed by your own body. You know, it's like a betrayal. And you're like, why won't you work? Why won't you do what I need you to do? And there were nights that I used to cry out to God, like, please, Lord, fix me. I don't want to be like this anymore. And then he created a way for me. And the way was through knowledge. And I will never stop learning. You see me here today, and I'm talking to you on this live, but guess what? If I come back next year and talk to you about on the live on the same topic, there will be so much more information that I'm able to pour out, because I never stop edifying myself with knowledge, because I know that that is what the Lord gave me to get me out of the situation I was in. So I'll never stop doing it. I'll never stop learning. And that is why I am pouring out as much as I can in the 3 weeks. And every time I do a course, whatever topic is on, I try to pour as much as I can, because that's why my way of saying, thank you, Lord. Thank you for helping me. It's my way of giving back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's why if you don't take me up on the offer, it's almost like, why wouldn't you? Because I'm giving you everything that I have in this moment on that topic. I'm not withholding anything from you. You're just leaving it on the table.
Sasha, there's a pretty popular, I don't know if you call it a meme or whatever. It's this question. If you had the opportunity to get $500,000 or have a dinner with Jay-Z, which do you choose, right?
Oh,
so
gosh.
A lot of people are like, well, they're really going back and forth. The people that choose to have the dinner with Jay-Z, the logic is that it's an opportunity to derive an amount of information from somebody who's a billionaire, right? Who may be able to give you the information you need to maybe become a tenth of what they're worth, right? Like if you could get enough information from a billionaire to teach you how to just get out of poverty, or to get to a place where you're in the top, 10% or even 1% of earners, that's still very valuable. And that would be considered more valuable than the $500,000, because without the knowledge of how to invest that money or use it, you just lose it all, right?
I do understand what you're saying. Sorry to cut you. I do understand. I'm not a big fan of celebrity culture, so that wouldn't work for me, if you understand what I mean. However,
that's not the point. Let me finish. So that the point is, it could be anybody. It could be Steve Jobs. It could be Dr. Sabi. It could be whoever you like, whoever you look up to, or whoever has something that you would see as not as valuable. If I had the ability, let's just say that I had the ability to spend, a day talking to Jesus, so I refer to him as Yeshua, and be able to ask him, how did you heal people? How did you perform the miracles? How did you do it? Right? Yes. Like the value proposition is off the charts. And so the point is, you have the opportunity, y'all in the audience, those of you who are watching now, you have the opportunity to sit with somebody who has a level of knowledge about the human body that will help improve your condition exponentially. Okay. And it seems like people don't understand the value proposition, because they see the price. And this is one of the problems with pricing. People associate price with value. When you can go and buy a Balenciaga sweater that might cost you $2,000-$3,000, but it only cost them $57 to make. So price and value are not the same thing, right? We are doing our best to give you an abundance of value for an affordable price, because we care about the community. Now, Sasha, you mentioned last time on the last call, it's very likely that there's probably no one out there doing what we're doing right now. The amount of knowledge that you have, the intention, the amount of time what people are going to get from this course for this price point probably doesn't exist. And I would probably agree with you, because most people understand business well enough to say, well, that doesn't make sense. And actually, even with our retreats, the retreats, even though some people might say, oh, the retreats are expensive, you might think that, right? Because everybody has a different financial situation. But for the value that we give, and those who went to the retreat, you can, speak to this, the value you give is way more than what we charge. And that's really all that matters. And we do that because we do care about the community at a level where, yeah, maybe we care too much sometimes. Like sometimes we hurt ourselves. And this is something that I worked on for a long time, because I cared more about people's health than they did. And I didn't understand that, because Sasha, as you said, no one should care about their health more than them. So I didn't understand it.
I'll tell you now, like, I don't like to talk about numbers because everyone's financial situation is different, but I'll tell you this much. I have met people, okay, who do not have the finances, but they have the willingness to want to learn to a point where they've come in here, and this is a real life story, okay? They've come to my center and said to me, I just want to get well. What service could I provide to you that would allow me to get the treatment that I need to help myself? That's a person that wants to get well. They don't have the financial means, but they are so hell-bent on changing where they currently are that, you know what? I've often said, I don't even need a service, because that level of you want this, I want to bless you with that, because you want this. Because I know what that feels like. When I wanted to get well, it didn't matter what it took. I would have sold furniture. It didn't matter. I wanted to be around. I wanted to learn. I wanted to get better. I had 2 children that were looking at me with eyes like, Mommy, are you going to live? What happens to us if you die? Do you understand? Like, it's like, I don't understand. People are so comfortable saying, I'm sick. Oh, I'm sick. What? Why is that coming off your tongue like it's nothing? You don't have to be that way. So, again, I've done what I do, and that is kind of bully you lot. But it's bullying in love. It's bullying in love. I want you to want to be the best version of yourself. And I want it more than some people want it for themselves. And the class is $119, Tweety. It's 119 USD. And to be honest with you, it doesn't make sense. None of my other courses are $119. And I don't think any of my other courses ever will be. That is the truth. It's a 3-week course. And you get more than 2 hours each class. And there are 6 classes. So even if you did the math, 6 times 2, and it goes over 2 always, right? That's 12 hours, right? That's what we've got, 12 hours. And it's more than that. And I charge just blanket figure, okay? I charge $200 an hour to talk to me on the phone. Did you hear what I just said? To talk to me on the phone. Not to do anything else, but to have a conversation and tell me what's going on with you, and me say, okay, you could try this, you could do that. That is what I charge. And that is not for my cancer clients. That is just for a normal conversation around coaching. And I'm giving you for $119, 12 hours of my time. And yet people are second guessing. And it's not just 12 hours on the phone. This is 12 hours of teaching. Right. I am live talking to you, answering your questions. There are slides. There is notes that you get. There is a whole guide that you get. Yeah, when I think about it, I'm insane, but I know that this is me. Giver's gain. Giver's gain.
Sasha, I just thought about something, because that's a very good point that you bring up. When somebody is desperate, they'll do anything. Most people are not at a level of desperation. They really aren't. They think they are, right? But seeing your children as you're laying on your potential deathbed, wonder what's going to happen to them if you die, that's going to put you at a level of desperation. You need to want health like you need air to breathe,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so one really cool thing you could do, and I'm just saying, right? You could literally take this class. Sasha, I'm telling y'all, if you've never taken one of her courses, they're jam-packed. You could literally take one of her classes, watch the replays, take notes, learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it. And then you could literally go and teach that information. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you could literally, it is one of the easiest hustles out there. Go learn it and then go teach it.
It's true, actually. It's true.
I mean, I tell people all the time, you join one of our challenges, you get the PDF guide, you get the coaches, you could ask questions, you could literally join one of our challenges and go teach it. That's how in depth they are. You know what I mean? So it's a mindset. When we have a poverty mindset, we think about how much things cost. When we have a growth mindset, we think about, investing in ourselves and what's going to transpire because I did this thing, because I made this investment. We don't think about the cost or the price. We're looking at it as an investment. And of course, the human body is an incredible vehicle, but some of our bodies are not so incredible. Some of them are beat up. They're on, them cars on the side of the road with the orange sticker on them. The police come and put the orange sticker because they done broke down. Some of our bodies are like that. And I was just thinking, I want to be an all-terrain vehicle. That's me personally. Like I want to be able to so they recently, okay, well, this is not mainstream, but there is the underground community is talking about the next potential pandemic, right? Because we keep having them, y'all. We've had several in the past 20 years, several. Bird flu, swine flu, HC1V, I don't know. They make up new numbers, new letters, whatever. So the next one is coming. And we saw what happened with the last one, the amount of panic. Wouldn't it be incredible for you to know your body so well, trust your body so well, and have done the work ahead of time to where you don't even have to worry about it? Sasha, let me ask you this. When you learned about the whole COVID thing, were you worried that you were going to get COVID and die? Like,
of course not.
No, neither was I. There's a level of trust that I have in my body that I know that no weapon formed against me will prosper. I know that. I believe that.
This, right? I know for a fact that, trust me when I say, my trust is not even in my body. My trust is in the creator who created me. My body is the creation, right? So there's that. But with the knowledge that I have gained and that has been given to me and doors that have been opened for me, right, where I can gain knowledge, it was almost like, oh wow, I'm excited. This is the test. Let's see. Like this is the moment now that all this work that I've been doing on my body, let's test it out. And it wasn't fear. It was almost like, oh wow. It started off with like, okay, oh wow. And I went completely raw during that time. So I was 100% raw vegan because I said, I need to take the nutrients up a notch, even higher. Because I obviously came back from a background of the cancer, which is a compromisation of the immune system. So I thought, all right, well, if this thing's out here, I don't know what it is at first. We're just hearing rumblings. So guess what? I'm going to put my body to the highest level it can be. So I went completely raw for 155 days. Okay. And in that time, what I noticed was I had energy. I was walking 27,000 steps a day. My body got into the best version of itself. Everybody else was gaining weight and I was losing weight, gaining muscle mass. And the gyms were closed. And on top of that, I had energy going through the roof. I created new programs, getting ready for everything that opened up. And the only thing that was frustrating for me was the fear mongering, because I knew different and I knew better, and my head was in the books, learning, trying to find out information, searching. It was like I got more frustrated with people that were so afraid, that were shunning me Oh, you're irresponsible. Oh, you're walking outside. Oh, you're this. And I was just like, okay, wait, have you read anything? Do you know anything? Would you like to read something? Because I can share some stuff with you. No, I'm watching CNN. Okay, well, okay. And this is the thing. I don't rebuke those people because I get it. Fear is debilitating. It's paralyzing. When you don't have knowledge, of course you're fearful of the unknown. It's a natural human behavior, right? But what I'm trying to tell you is, in this moment, you have an opportunity to learn something that will equip you for how to help your body now and in the future, and for your family. Generational health should be a priority if you say you care. You don't have to have children to give generational health as an inheritance to people around you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was talking to one of my clients today, and she's in the AHA community. If you're in here, hey babe. And she was telling me that, you know, she's been making a specific smoothie that I have her on to balance blood sugar and stuff like that. And she said to me, my 6-year-old niece tasted it, and now she wants it every day.
Mm.
And I'm like, I don't want to make it for her. It's expensive. I go back. I said, listen, let me tell you something. You have just created something in that little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Something that she's going to carry through her life. You've just imparted some knowledge that's going to change the trajectory of her life. If she remembers that as she gets older, when sickness comes or she meets a friend that's going through, she's going to say, oh, you know what? You should try this. Because my auntie used to do that when her blood sugar wasn't right. You've just created something by just sharing. I don't know. I don't understand why we are now a community of people that don't see value when it's right there. We'll waste money on garbage that does nothing for you. And I know we can say, right, it's a poverty mindset, but I don't believe it is. I don't believe it's a poverty mindset, because there are a lot of poor people that I know, and really poor people, that see value and grab it with both hands because they know they'll never get it again. I don't think it's a poverty mindset. I think it's a mindset of lack of value. They don't value themselves enough to care. You don't value yourself enough, because we live in a world of just kind of like consumerism, right? Oh, there'll be a new thing tomorrow. Oh, there'll be a new thing tomorrow. And maybe you're thinking, oh, don't worry, she'll run it again. Well, guess what? I'm not going to run it again for the same price. Never, ever, ever, and ever. It is never going to be $119 again. Why? Because I don't want to. That's why. I already have the knowledge. I'm giving it to you. And if you don't want it right now, well, guess what? You'll pay more for it next time, because I will be at a different level when I deliver it again the next time.
And inflation always goes up too.
Last year's price is not this year's price. That is the way it works.
That's the way it works.
Do you understand? So I am telling you, get it while you can, because this is where it is. This is when it is. It's this Sunday. That's it.
So,
I don't have anything else. I love people. I don't know if you know that. I genuinely love people. And the reason why I love people is because Christ loved me. And I was never perfect. My life was not perfect. I've made a lot of bad decisions in my life, and it didn't have to end up like this. It could have been a lot worse. You guys see the polished version of Sasha. You see the Sasha that's been through some stuff and come out the other end. The Sasha that was around in the 90s, in the early 2000s, is not the Sasha you see right now. Okay, and I'm not ashamed of my past. I own it, and I almost celebrate it, because it brought me to where I am today, and I couldn't be more grateful. Who you are right now does not have to be who you are tomorrow, next year, 5 years from now, and 10 years from now. But what you do today builds on who you're going to be.
mm-hmm.
It does build on who you're going to be. And there's nothing worse, I'll tell you this. the knowing that you could have done something, you didn't do it, your health goes to crap, okay? And then you're a shoulda, woulda, coulda person. You never want to live with regrets, okay? You don't. Why would you want to do that? And then you're a burden onto your family. And then you're upset because they are irritated by you. You understand? But
Yeah.
you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Imagine how my life would have been if I did nothing. I would have died, okay? And just say God would have saved my life and I didn't die. But I'm in a wheelchair because I was in a wheelchair, right? So I'm in a wheelchair. I can't really, my legs ain't got no strength to function. There's nothing happening there. There's no muscle mass anymore. So I'm just in a wheelchair. And my 20-year-old son, he's 20 now, and my daughter's 18 next month. So they would have been responsible for cleaning my backside and carrying me around. What kind of life is that for my kids? Because I didn't want to do different. And I didn't want to try. What? No. My kids don't worry about my health. They're living their life. They don't worry about my health because they know that's my priority. I'm mommy. I'm working on my health. I'm elevating my health. That shouldn't be their responsibility. Do you understand that? I hope you lot are picking up what I'm laying down, because literally it's time for change. It's time to change. Change the way you approach your health. It is your responsibility. It's the only home you're going to live in this life. Anyway, like I said, I already know the knowledge, so you got to do what you want to do. But if you want to join, I'm ecstatic. I will hold your hand and we're going to have a really good time. And if you don't want to join, then that's on you.
Everybody's got decisions to make. I tell people that you are the sum total of every decision you've made up until this moment. So if you don't like where you are, right? Change. Make better decisions. Make different decisions. Do something outside of your comfort zone. Go against whatever inclination it is that has you on the wrong path. Just go against the grain. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. Like, I don't understand why when it comes to health and detoxification and becoming your the best version of yourself, why everybody thinks that's supposed to be easy. Nothing that's easy is worth it.
But the thing is, it can be easy. We heard Katrina's testimony the other day. Her detoxification process is easy now. It never used to be. But with the knowledge and the application of knowledge, her detoxification is like it has never been before. There is nothing. She is living her life, thriving. And this was a lady that couldn't finish the fast. She was struggling. And felt insecure and kind of self-critical of herself every time she failed, when she said she was going to do it and didn't do it, didn't follow through, and made her feel like, oh my God, I'm a liar. I'm lying to myself. I say I'm going to do stuff and I don't do it. There's nothing worse than feeling like that. Every time you say you're going to do something, your word means nothing because you can't follow through. But not because you don't want to, but because your body's not equipped to. How about we equip our body so that when we say we want to do something, hey presto, we can do it. What is that?
My championship belt that I was presented with from the pack. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
When we did the retreat this past weekend, they gave me this, they presented me with this belt, this championship belt.
Wow. Okay. And talk to me about it. Well, what is it for? What does it do? Why? It's
a trophy. It's just a thank you. So the pack group is our peer accountability group.
I know.
And they're just thankful for the information, the knowledge, the family, the community that we've facilitated, and then they created a subset of the AHA community. So if you go to AHA communities, you can find the pack, and they do like daily Zoom calls, and they came to the retreat and had other activities and things. So they've created their own community within the community.
I love that. And remember
Yeah.
what I said, guys? I said about the oxytocin, that hormone that regulates the sense of belonging. Look at this. There's a whole community within the community that facilitates a sense of belonging, where you get the support you need. There's no price for PAC, is there?
Nope.
It's completely free, guys. Are you joking right now? Why would you not? Why would you not jump in and get around people that want you to win? What?
Yep.
Somebody just asked for the link in the chat for the course. And also, what was the other thing? Chris is showing off. Yes, he is, and he's got every right to. If I had a belt, I'd be showing off too. I would. I'd be showing off too, because guess what? That's not something that he bought himself. That was something that he earned from his community, who recognized that he's putting himself out there each and every time he creates a course. He aligns himself with someone like me. He creates a live. He, you know, facilitates a retreat. I'm telling you, he's over and extending himself because he cares. He absolutely deserves the belt. Show off, yes, sir. Absolutely. I want a belt. Where's my belt? I love it.
I'm sure you get your flowers too.
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. I just love what we're doing here. And the people that are taking it on board, I love it. And for those of you that are on the fence, get off the fence. Come and join the community. Come and be around people that want you to be your best self. I don't see why you wouldn't. It's not cliquey, and they'll tell you in the chat, everybody's welcome. You know, it's not a place where, oh, I'm not from that area, so I can't. There's people from all areas. There's people from all demographics. There's people from all economic standing. We're not judging you on that. The one thing that we all have in common is that we want to be healthy. And we're willing to take accountability for our own health. If that is you, if you are ready to do that, come on. Somebody will welcome you in. Join and say, I'm new here, and watch the comments flood you.
Yep. Every time. Every time. All right. So the link is in the chat, y'all. I've put it in there several times. If you guys are watching the video after the fact, the link will be in the description and also in the comment section. It's $119 to join. Starts Sunday, which would be 2 days from now, the 29th at 7 Central. Right?
Yeah.
7 Central Time. Recordings will be available for every single presentation. So don't worry about that. You're going to get an invitation to the private group probably tomorrow, Sasha. Probably start letting people in.
It'll be tomorrow evening. You'll get the invitation, because I've got to make sure that the guide is put in there, which will happen tomorrow. So
okay. All right. So we'll get you guys your invitation. And if you have any issues, as far any technical issues, hit up support@ahealthyalternative.org. Come join AHA Communities. I also put the link for that in the chat. You guys can join the PAC group. They are a very loving group of people. I'll tell you that much. Like, they're very loving. But they also hold you to task, which is important. You got to be around people. Iron sharpens iron, you know. Absolutely. And iron can be very hard, but it can also make you very sharp and make you very capable. So that's it, y'all. Thank you for joining, and I guess we'll see you in the course.
Thank you for my flowers. Somebody just gave me flowers.
Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate you.
All right. We're excited. Also, anybody who wants to, there is an option to do a forepay on the challenge, on the class. So if you don't have the $119 today, you can basically get a credit extended to you. You could do a forepay, and then you could pay over the course of 8 weeks. So we added that to help with those who are, you know, just don't have the finances but want to do it. Once again, where there's a will, there's a way. There's always an option. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Bye.
Good night.
See you all on Sunday.